Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 1012th Rome Total War Brotherhood game I've put onto YouTube. Just to say, in our quest to try and modernise and freshen Rome Total War, as it will be 21 years old this month, this is one of our new concept battles. We call this Barbarians versus Rome. But what it is factions that people think that are lesser 31k factions are given maximum money. So just let me give you an idea of the factions that we give the maximum money to. So it's a Germania faction, Dacia, Gaul, Britannia, Spain, Scythia, Parthia, Armenia, and Thrace. So in a 4v4, 4 players would choose one of those factions and they would get maximum money. And the other team are all Rome, but they can only spend 31k. Okay, so we kind of call it Barbarians versus Romans, but basically it's kind of what people think are lesser 31k factions versus Rome. Okay, so as I say, this is one of our new concept battles, and this is fought on one of our new custom maps. As you can see, you've got the woods there for the woods bonus for the Barbarian factions, plus you've got the winter bonus as well. For the Barbarians factions as well. So there's with maximum money, the woods bonus, the winter bonus, then you can see there's lots of advantages for the Barbarians there. You've got the big open plains if you want to fight out in the open, or you've got the woods there if the Barbarians want to fight in the woods for the woods bonus. And as I say, there's another clearing there in the woods. Very often there's a lot of fighting done in this area as well when we come onto this map. And as we move across the map, you will notice that the ground is very undulating. So that's another one of our new custom maps with a lot of undulating ground. So tactical ground movement on undulating ground maps is very, very important. Okay, so just look there, you've got big open plains, as I say, if you want to fight out in the open, as well as the woods. So it's quite an interesting map, this one. Okay, our first teammate is Brotherhood member Fesen. Now, Fesen's got 11 infantry, 4 archers, and 5 cavalry. Okay, so this normal 31k rules plus 4 archers max. Okay, that's what we've got. 10 cavalry max for Parthia and Scythia. Okay, and 8 cavalry max for Armenia. Right, so there you can see that he's got his 4 archers there. Now what I'd like to show you here is he's got 2 eagle units. Now can you think why he's got 2 eagle units? Well, of course that's to neutralise, and the infantry general as well, that's to neutralise the fear factor of berserkers and chariots. Okay, so we've got to remember that we're up against berserkers and chariots, which are going to lower the morale of our troops greatly. So to bring 2 extra morale boosting units like eagle units is a really good tactical move, and something we've learnt since we've been playing these type of battles. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member Mantu, which has got an unusual army build for this battle. Okay, he's got 10 infantry, 4 archers, and 6 cavalry, but unusual cavalry. Now, if you notice here, you'll see that most of his infantry, if not all of it, have got 7 upgrades on. A veteran stripe, gold shield, gold... Sorry, 8 upgrades on. 2 veteran stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Okay, now you might be thinking, how the heck could he afford to do that with 10 infantry? Okay, and there's his general unit there as well, once again with 8 upgrades, 2 veteran stripes, 2 experienced stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Okay, the reason that he can put those good upgrades on his infantry is because, get ready for this, instead of Praetorian cavalry, he's bought the cheaper Roman cavalry. Okay, now Roman cavalry there, and he's only got gold shield, gold attack on them as well. Roman cavalry specifications are nowhere near as good as Praetorian cavalry. So that's why they're so much more cheap. They're a lot more cheaper, like you see. So that's what gives him the extra money to upgrade his infantry. All right, so 6 Roman cavalry, 10 infantry, but the 10 infantry are very, very well upgraded. 2 veteran stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So obviously you want to spend the money on his infantry there. Okay, our next teammate is somebody who's called himself Chinny Poo, but is in fact Scorpion King SR. Now he's got 10 infantry, 4 archers, and 6 cavalry. Okay, 10 infantry, 4 archers, 6 cavalry, and I'd like to show you something that he's got as well. You'll see that he's also bought 2 extra morale boosting eagle units. Okay, once again, we're bringing these morale boosting units to try and neutralize the effect of the fear factor from chariots and berserkers. Okay, and of course he's got his infantry general as well. So three morale boosting units there for his army. Quick look at the upgrades on his cavalry. I would think probably, yeah, 7 upgrades and experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry. But bringing eagle units, we've learnt that that's very important in these type of battles where we're fighting fear-inducing units. Okay, so as you can see, we've done that. If we can find my army somewhere hiding amongst the woods, then there we are. And there's our final army is myself. I've got 13 infantry, 2 archers and 5 cavalry. 13 infantry, 2 archers, 5 cavalry, and you'll see also that I have got 2 eagle units as well. Okay, so I've got 2 eagle units plus my infantry general, so I've got 3 lots of morale going on there for my army. As I say, the more we play these battles, the more we have to amend our army builds, both the barbarian team and the Roman team as well. Okay, so that's my army there. And as I say, we've got a lot of morale going on in our Roman armies, and that is essential when facing fear-inducing units. Should be a great one for you to watch. And here is the other team. We have someone who's called himself Thrace, but is in fact a Brotherhood member Royer. Now he's bought the Germanic faction. He's got 11 chosen axemen, 3 berserkers and 6 cavalry. Quick look at his fully upgraded chosen axemen there, where they're effective against armor axes. And remember, these guys have got excellent morale as well. So you imagine that, excellent morale, effective against armor axes, and fully upgraded. There's the barbarian banner there. As you can see, the banner holder there carrying that. And then we've got the infamous berserkers, arguably the most powerful units in the game, with their 2 hit points, excellent specifications, massive fear factor they bring to enemy troops, and of course they're effective against armor maces. Okay, and the reason there's only 3 is because they're so powerful. 3 is enough for a Germanic army to still win using them. And then you've got 6 Gothic cavalry. Check out the specifications of Gothic cavalry. I think you'll be surprised on how good they are. So make no mistake, this is a solid, fully upgraded Germanic army. Remember, the barbarian team have got maximum money, so every single unit is fully upgraded. Their next teammate is Wolved Odd Glorfindel. He hasn't played RTW for a couple of years regularly, but he's coming back on, so he says. Now he's got 4 slingers, 6 chariots, 9 chosen swordsmen and 1 druid unit. Okay, so he's got slingers instead of head hurlers, which I thought was quite unusual. I don't know what you think. So there's the chosen swordsman. As say, they've got excellent morale as well, and fully upgraded. You'd be surprised on how tough chosen swordsman can be. There once again is the barbarian banner there that the banner holders carry him. And then he's also got a very good move here, a druid unit. Remember that barbarian morale, a lot of the units aren't very good, so to bring a morale boosting druid unit is really good. That's a good tactical thing to do. Okay, and as I say, he's got slingers rather than head hurlers there. Now remember that the slingers have got they got 40 slingshots, where archers have only got 30 arrows. But of course slingers don't really do that much damage, really, to be honest. And head hurlers may well have been a better option here, but you know, it's whatever you feel is best. And here he's got the barbarian warlord chariots. Now remember, Britannia's got 2 lots of chariots. They've got the heavy chariots with 3 hit points for about 580 denarii, or you've got these barbarian warlord chariots which are over 1,000 denarii, but they've got 5 hit points. And I would always recommend to bring the barbarian warlord chariots, because those 5 hit points really do make a difference in battle, as I've tried and tested that many times over the years of playing RTW. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member Barclayman. Okay, and he has bought the Thrace faction. Now he's got 7 bastarnae, 8 pikes and 5 cavalry general units. Okay, so there's the pikes there, and just look at the length of those Thracian pikes that our Roman troops are going to have to fight down to kill the man on the other end, and that's a pretty tall order. You've got the bastarnae here. Okay, fully upgraded. Just note their curved sword. Now I'm not sure if those are called phalanxes. Are they phalanxes? But you know, they're just curved swords from what I can see there. Okay, so that's what the Bastarni use there. And he's got a Bastarni general. Of course, his 5 cavalry units are hiding in the woods. But those of you that like specifications might like to know that the 5 general cavalry units, if they're fully upgraded, right, they get a massive 17 attack, okay, a massive 26 defense. They've got a 6 charge and 2 hit points. Okay, there's only 24 in a unit, okay, but with 17 attack, 26 defense, a 6 charge, 2 hit points, and really good morale as well. So you can imagine how tough they are. But yes, there are only 24 in a unit, but of course they're all hiding in the woods at the moment. So those cavalry general units, they can be very, very tough on the battlefield, as we may see a little bit later on. Okay, and their last teammate is a Brotherhood member, Spitfyr, who's bought the Gaul faction. Now he's got 9 chosen swordsmen. Get ready for this: 3 druids, 4 Forester warband, and 4 chosen cavalry generals. Okay, so he's also got very good cavalry there. Okay, so if you look here as a chosen swordsman, as I say, very good infantry, fully upgraded, and very underestimated infantry as well, to be honest with you. And there's 2 of his druid units there. You can see they're chanting already. They're giving morale boost to the troops there. You can see with their arms out like that, that's they're chanting, but that's 2 of them. But I believe there are 3 druid units, if I'm not mistaken. And they were, and there's the 3rd druid unit over there. Okay, now I'm guessing that he might have his Forester warband archers hiding over there, and that's why he's put a druid unit with them. But I'm only guessing that. He could well have done that. And here, just of you that like, those of you that like specifications might like to know that fully upgraded barbarian chosen warlord Gaul cavalry there. I've got a massive 18 attack, 22 defense, 7 charge, and 2 hit points. Okay, so once again, a big 18 attack, 22 defense, 7 charge, and 2 hit points. Yes, there are only 24 in a unit, but fully upgraded, you can appreciate that they can be pretty tough there when used correctly. So there's the enemy team. As I say, we call these battles Barbarian versus Rome, and are one of our new concept battles to freshen up and modernise Rome Total War. Okay, at this very, very early stage of the battle, I wanted to show you my battle formation here. Can you see how I've got my 2 eagle units and my general in the center of this new battle formation? Okay, those of you that watch our battle videos a lot will know that I've got a standard battle formation, but here can you see how I've changed the battle formation to protect the 2 eagle units and the general unit, so that they can you know, they can push out morale from the middle of the battle formation, protected by the urban cohorts, so they can radiate morale to all the infantry there. So that's why I've got this new battle formation there. Okay, and there you'll see that we're going right over to the, I think the team battle plan was to move over to the right flank. That's what we normally do on this map. Okay, so you'll see this is the area we're normally moving to. Here you'll see Fesen is all the way over on the right flank there. So once again, it's one of those battle maps where I've got to run from one flank to the other. But as I say, look at the undulating ground on this map. The snow really emphasises the undulation, doesn't it, if you look closely. And as I say, Fesen there knows what he's doing. We played on this map many times. He's going up for the higher ground there. But also you'll notice that the enemy troops here have formed up on a very strong defensive part of this map, the higher ground. Okay, with the rock there to stop any flank attacks, and if they form up on the higher ground, we have to attack obviously uphill, and that's very much what they're looking like they're doing there. Okay, remember they've got the winter bonus and the woods bonus as well, the barbarian troops have. Okay, and if we, as I say, if we try to attack them in that position, we will be attacking uphill. Okay, just to remind you that all of the barbarian factions are fully upgraded because they had maximum money. Right, now here you'll see Scorpion King being his usual aggressive attacking self and moving towards the front of the woods there. Can you see he's moving over there towards the enemy? Now we know Scorpion King likes to take the battle to the enemy. He likes to take the fight there. try and keep the enemy on the back foot. But he needs to be very careful here, because remember that yes, they are what some people may class as lesser 31k factions, but they are fully upgraded. And from what we've seen in these battles we fought before, fully upgraded units can be very dangerous, as we may well see in this battle. Okay, you'll see the Gaulish army moving towards it. There's hidden cavalry in those trees, I'm guessing. Thracian heavy cavalry. Remember, we looked at the specifications of those general cavalry units there. Very high specifications, can do a lot of damage. And remember, they're fast moving. They can outrun heavy cavalry. So they've got a lot of good uses, those fast moving general cavalry units. But once again, can you see Scorpion King moving towards the enemy troops, being very, very aggressive, as he always is. But I remember thinking to myself, be careful. In fact, I may well have actually communicated, be careful over there. Right, you'll see that his archers are shooting now. Can you see they're firing arrows, shooting arrows into that armoured cavalry unit there of Barclaymans, but they'll do minimal damage to a fully upgraded cavalry general unit. Okay, you'll see here that Wolved's odd Glorfindel is moving his slingers down the hill there, and you have to get very close to use the slingshots there. But I was just saying, as I said earlier, do you think head hurlers would have been a better choice? But, you know, put your thoughts in the comments about that. And here's a cavalry charge going there like a bang, as that Thracian cavalry unit there charges in to Scorpion King's cavalry. There's more cavalry coming towards his archers as well. He needs to bring his cavalry back to defend his archers there. Look at the damage that those fast moving cavalry general units are doing there. Bang, as a Gaul unit smash in to Scorpion King's archers there. He's lost 2 archer units straight away there. He's now countering with his cavalry, so it wouldn't surprise me if the enemy pulled those general cavalry units away from Scorpion King's heavy cavalry units there. But remember, those fully upgraded general units there, they can be a match for heavy cavalry as well. You'd be surprised, and this is something we've kind of found out through playing these battles there. So Scorpion King needs to be careful with his cavalry. There's the Thracian cavalry, and don't forget there's a Thracian and the Gaul cavalry general units there smashing into the Julii cavalry units of Scorpion King. So as I say, Scorpion King is in a bit of I would say a dangerous position there, looking at the positioning of the enemy. There you can see that Thracian cavalry attacking that one Julii cavalry. It wouldn't surprise me if they went for the rest of Scorpion King's archers there. Okay, as I say, Glorfindel here has brought his slingers down to get in range of the Julii infantry. And up here on the hill, if you look, you can see there's Britannia troops, there's Thracian troops, and there's Germanic troops on that higher ground. Now, are they thinking about a downhill charge, right, into Scorpion King's Red Julii army? And if you look at the positioning of the Gaul army on his flank as well, okay, get ready for this. This has got to be the potential of what I call a perfect storm attack. Okay, it's very rare that I've ever talked about a perfect storm attack, but look at the positioning of the enemy troops here, and if they do decide to attack, as I say, it could be a perfect storm attack. Now these Forester Warband archers, he's got some that will be shooting into the flank of Scorpion King's infantry. They've got long range. Don't forget they're getting the winter bonus and the woods bonus as well there. And there you can see there's one of Scorpion King's cavalry units that have been routed by the general units of Thrace. Now they're going to charge into the rest of his archers there like a bang. Scorpion King's going to counterattack with his heavy cavalry there. And you'll see the Thracian cavalry move back. There's still a Gaul cavalry unit there, but he's pulling that back as well. But see the damage that those fast-moving armoured cavalry generals have done there. Right, as I say, the slingers are now shooting into Scorpion King's Red Julii army. Okay, so looking further afield here on the battle, as I say, you can see here that Fesen is moving up onto the higher ground. Okay, now as I say, we fought on this map a lot playing these battles, so he knows tactically where he wants to go with his army. And it looks like he's coming up here, okay, to try and get kind of level with the enemy troops there. Okay, very tactical. You'll see Mantu's cavalry here attacking the slingers of Britannia, and you can see that I've just got over from the other flank and my troops are tired. Look, I've just run all the way over here to try and be with my allies as fast as I can to help as fast as I can, but my troops are tired now and I'm going to try and move up onto the higher ground. You can see Mantu's SBQR infantry there stretched across the battlefield, and his cavalry are now attacking those slingers. Now make no mistake, Wolved's odd Glorfindel can be a very aggressive player. And looking at his troops, look at the disposition of his troops. I think he's locked and loaded, and he's got his finger on the trigger, and he's just waiting to pull that trigger, and he's going to do a downhill charge onto poor old Scorpion King's troops there. Pause the game for a second here. Now, what I think is going to trigger the attack is Scorpion King here with his cavalry attacking the Britannia slingers. Okay, that's what I think is going to trigger the attack, and I think odd Glorfindel's not going to take that, and I think, as I say, he was locked and loaded and ready to go, and I think that that attack on his slingers could provoke a massive downhill attack by those Britannia troops, bearing in mind they've got the winter bonus, and once they get into the woods with those Julii troops, look, they're going to get the woods bonus as well. Right, there you are, you can see the Britannia troops trigger has now been pulled, and they are now attacking into Scorpion King's red Julii infantry. Okay, so there you are, you can see them charging down, very, very aggressive there by Glorfindel. And it'd be interesting to see if the Germanic troops are going to join in as well. There's the chosen swordsman. You can see them going in there. Remember, the moment they go into the woods, they're getting the woods bonus as well as the winter bonus. And here comes the Germanic effective against armor axemen coming down the hill as well. They're going to smash into those woods. Right, just pause the game for a second here. So, you've got the effective against armor axemen, all the Britannia troops, including the chariots, looking to smash into Scorpion King's infantry. And there, behind them, is the Gaul troops in the woods there. You can see the Forester Warband archers are shooting into them already. And you've got the Gaul infantry there. There's the Forester Warband shooting into them. Plus, you've got all that Gaul infantry there ready to charge in as well. And as I say, if they charge in there, they're of course hiding in the woods. There's the Druids there giving them morale. But when they charge into Scorpion King as well, as I said, it could well be what I call a perfect storm attack for poor old Scorpion King here. Okay, so there you were, it's the Britannia troops. The Germanic troops have just halted there. Okay, and you might think, why have they halted? And that's because he's just hit Warcry. Okay, so Royer has just hit Warcry there, and he's charging them in. He got as close to them enemy as he could. Remember, Warcry runs out, so that's why he's timed it there. Look at the chariots and all the effective against armor axemen and the Britannia chosen swordsmen all smashing in to Scorpion King's red Julii infantry. Oh my gosh. So, as I say, they're not only getting the winter bonus, they're getting the woods bonus as well. Meanwhile, over here, you'll see that Royer has charged his Germanic cavalry into the open order infantry of Mantu. Remember, units in open order are very susceptible to lots of damage by cavalry when they get hit. That's why Royer's done a downhill charge into Mantu's infantry there with his cavalry. Okay, I dare say that Mantu will counterattack with his cavalry as well. But that was a really nice hit there by the cavalry. But remember, Mantu's infantry have got 8 upgrades on, 2 veteran stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So they're not going to rout easy. But poor old Scorpion King's infantry here, look how they're starting to rout. Oh my gosh, and look at the pressure from those effective against armour Germanic axemen and the Britannia chosen swordsmen, and the chariots now have got in behind him there as well. So it's big fear factor here on poor old Scorpion King's troops. And look at those effective against armour axemen and those Britannia chosen swordsmen all piercing into Scorpion King's infantry there. And you know what, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw a mass rout. There's Gaul cavalry in behind as well that are just charging into him as well. So do you see what, and I can see Gaulish infantry coming out of the woods, going to charge into him as well. So can you see what I'm talking about? A perfect storm attack, and the storm is falling onto Scorpion King SR here. As you can see, all those troops just pouring in on him there. Oh my gosh, and bang, as that chariot unit goes in. Get ready to watch those Julii units, get ready for this, because there's fire arrows coming in on him, lowering his morale as well. Watch that, he's got 1 unit left there, right. That unit has now been routed. So Okay, so at this stage of the battle, all of Scorpion King's infantry, all of his archers, and all of his cavalry has just been taken out by the Barbarian Hoard there. Okay, so there you are. That's you can see there that all of Scorpion King's army has just been smashed, crashed, and bashed there. So, as I say, things not looking very good. Now, Mantu needs to move his infantry away from Scorpion King's routed infantry, or his units will start to rout as well. Okay, so that's a good move by Mantu. Move his infantry away from Scorpion King's routed units there. Okay, so as I say, the enemy morale will be even higher now when they're seeing so many of our troops being routed there. And they will now be coming after Mantu, I would be thinking there. Okay, so that was a massacre there, really, wasn't it, of Scorpion King's troops. And as I say, a perfect storm attack there. Okay, so we just managed to rout... Just to give you a heads up on this, I think we've just routed the Germanic cavalry between us, and Mantu's cavalry and my cavalry there as well, and I think Fesen's cavalry might be down there as well. We just routed that Germanic cavalry attack on Mantu's infantry. Right, can you see Barclayman moving his fresh, fully intact Thracian army down the slope? And oh my gosh, Royer's still got three berserkers there, locked and loaded, that he hasn't even used yet. Oh my gosh, and they've already routed one of our Roman armies absolutely completely, and he hasn't even used his berserkers. Okay, so here, as I say, you can see Fesen here moving his infantry across the battlefield there, up onto the higher ground is where he will be looking to go, I think, with both his archers and his infantry. As I say, he's brought his cavalry over to the actual battle area here to help out. But as I say, Barclayman's Thracian army is fully intact and, you know, is fresh as well. So he's, you know, he's looking forward to the scrap. And also, do you notice something else? He's on the higher ground as well. So we certainly don't want to attack Thrace there. Right, as I thought, you'll see that as they've defeated Scorpion King's army in a big way, they are now going to come out the woods and attack Mantu's army. Now remember, Mantu's infantry, 2 veteran stripes, gold shield, gold attack, so they're not going to rout easy. Now I'm getting my tired infantry. I was going to go up onto the higher ground. That's what I was thinking about doing. Naturally, looking at the tactical ground benefit there, but Mantu's going to make a stand there, so I'm going to go over and support Mantu. Okay, so that's what I've decided to do there. But remember, Mantu has only got Roman cavalry. He hasn't got Praetorian cavalry. But of course, bringing the cheap cavalry units has enabled him to put some really good upgrades on his infantry. Okay, so you can see there that the Germanic troops are already attacking his units on that left flank there. And you can see the Britannia troops coming out the woods as well. There's cavalry coming into them as well. You can see that Mantu's just put his Roman cavalry into wedge formation there, which tells me he's going to attack the Germanic troops. Now, he may well be going for the Germanic general. There's Mantu's general has been routed there. Okay, so he's lost a general morale bonus, but remember, with the great upgrades he's got in his infantry, hopefully that won't make too much of a dent in the morale of his troops with the 2 veteran stripes they got on them. But you can see the enemy attacking. But as I say, Mantu's put his cavalry into wedge formation there, and I reckon he's going to go for the Germanic general. Can you see the square Germanic general banner there? That's where I think he's going to go for. Take out the Germanic general, take out the morale bonus there, and there they go, like a bang, as he smashes in there. And now he's being counter-attacked, look, by chariots and Germanic troops as well. Oh my gosh, and look at his cavalry. A lot of his cavalry has now been routed there. But remember, he may well, that cavalry may well rally. So that's what we've got to hope for there, that his cavalry is going to rally. But with his cavalry gone now, with those effective against armour axes and the Britannia troops, they can now smash into the flank of my red Julii battle formation there. Okay, you can see here Britannia troops charging in to the SBQR infantry of Mantu's there. Okay, so there you go. You can see, and I've charged my cavalry in. Can you see my cavalry penetrating through my infantry and smashing in to the Barbarian hordes there of Britannia and Germania there? But oh my gosh, I've got chariots coming in on my flank. I've got, there you are, can you see those Britannia chariots smashing into the flank of my infantry? But do you notice they're not penetrating my units? Did you notice that? They're smashing into the flank, but they're not penetrating. Remember, chariots do damage to your units when they get in between your infantry and those scythes start killing your men. But you notice they're not penetrated. You've got the effective against armour German axemen coming in on me as well. Make no mistake though, I will be throwing loads of pilers in. I put my pilers on auto. You can see the Britannia troops attacking the forward units there. Okay, and oh my gosh, this got to be battle winning. This has got to be a pivotal moment in the battle. Royer has just released his dogs of war, those berserkers there, and they are activated. Here, as I say, I've got my cavalry involved there. I'm going to keep them fighting there to assist my infantry, but you can see the berserkers have just been activated and they are just about to land. And here you can see the Gaul troops here of Spitfyr coming out the woods. They're going to join in with the fight against my Julii infantry there. Okay, you can see that. Make no mistake, Spitfyr will be looking to hit Warcry and charge his infantry into the forward units of my battle formation. Over here, as I say, Fesen, remember he moved over from that flank over to the higher ground here, which is what he wanted. But Barclayman spotted that and has brought his Thracian army up to try and counter Fesen's move there. Okay, so that's a good tactical move there by both of them there, I thought. And there you got Thracian cavalry with a downhill charge into my infantry. Can you see that? If he wants to charge them in, he's got the downhill bonus. And look at those berserkers coming in on us. Oh my gosh. So as I say, that could be, those berserkers being activated at this stage of the battle could be battle defining. Okay, but here you'll see that, as I say, I've got my 2 eagle units, my 2 morale boosting units, eagle units, and my general protected in the middle of this new battle formation. Can you see, surrounded by urban cohorts, protect them. So those eagle units and that general are radiating morale to all my fighting troops there. Okay, and as long as I can keep them safe, they'll keep doing that. But just look at how the enemy are trying to penetrate my units on that left flank. The chariots are smashing in there, Germanic troops are smashing in there, but they're not penetrating my unit. The cavalry there, my cavalry there is really helping as well. But you can see some of Mantu's SBQR units are still holding there, but of course they will with those 2 veteran stripes on them. They will hold, but now the berserkers are breaking through. Oh, that's good news. The Gaul general has just been taken out, so that's good news for us. Okay, so let's just pause the game for a second here. So just the Germanic general has just been taken out, so that's good news for us. You can see that some of Mantu's Roman cavalry has rallied, so that's good news. I'm pulling my cavalry back to lock and load it to look to charge in again, but look at all these enemy troops here pouring in on us. You can see, I can see the Britannia general still alive. I think Mantu's just got 2 infantry units left that are in danger of actually being taken out there by all those enemy troops. Okay, so you can see that. You can see the enemy troops really pushing in there. As I say, I've put my guys on auto fire, so they're going to be throwing loads of pilers into the enemy troops there. Okay, I know I've got a couple of archer units, I think, that there'll be archer units there shooting into the berserkers. Right, okay, so the last 2 units of Mantu's infantry have just been routed. Okay, now they're going to run into my troops and lower the morale of my troops as well. Remember, when allies routing troops run through your troops, they lower the morale of your troops. So are my troops about to mass rout as well? Well, we just have to see. But as I say, with my eagle units and my general unit in the centre of the battle formation, radiating that extra morale to my troops, I'm hoping they're going to hold. Okay, but just look at all those enemy troops coming in on my troops there. Okay, now you'll notice that I brought my cavalry round from the other flank to get the higher ground advantage, so I'm going to have the downhill charge bonus. Okay, that's what I'm looking to do, smash into them there. You'll see that Mantu's cavalry is locked and loaded as well. I'm hoping he's going to join my cavalry attack, and we can do a lot of damage to the enemy troops there. But now you can see the berserkers, the Britannia chosen swordsman there, and the Gaul chosen swordsman charging in. Right, here comes my cavalry with the downhill charge. I haven't got a lot of cavalry left, but I'm going to use them in the downhill charge, and they're getting in there like bang, as they smash in there. Whoa, and here comes Mantu's rallied cavalry charging in there as well into the Gaul troops, and bang, as he smashes in. And here comes Fesen in behind the enemy troops, and he's charging in there as well, and bang, as he smashes in there as well. Oh my gosh. Just look at that. Can you see how Roman cavalry, how the cavalry advantage of Rome really can tell against the barbarians there? This is one thing we found in these particular battles. The cavalry of Rome can be quite decisive, and you can see there that all our cavalry charging in there has routed most of the barbarian troops there. So that's one thing we have found in these battles. Roman cavalry, the cavalry of Rome can be good. Here you can see Thracian cavalry charged in behind my units there, into the rear of my Julii units, and you'll notice the Barclayman has sent down some of his Bastarnae infantry here to help his allies. Right, there comes the Bastarnae coming down now. And you can see there they've got the down slope or downhill advantage onto our troops. But somehow my Julii troops did manage to hold there. You can see I'm surge attacking there. Can you see now that my infantry are now surging forward there just to finish off the remains of the enemy troops? But make no mistake, I've suffered a lot of casualties here. And now you see my Julii troops fighting the Bastarnae. As I say, they came downhill, so they had the downhill advantage there. But you can see those troops were already starting to rout. Here you can see the Gaul infantry there, and I think the Britannia, and the Britannia infantry as well, and the Germanic infantry. We've managed to rout them all, and they are now leaving the battlefield there. Okay, so that's good news for us. But these Forester Warband archers with the woods advantage and the winter advantage, so their arrows go further and do more damage, make no mistake, are shooting into us all the time. Possibly targeting our cavalry if they get a chance, or definitely the flank or rear of our units there. But you can see now I'm moving my Julii units up the hill here towards Thrace. Okay, here you can see, as I say, Barclayman's Thrace army there was facing Fesen's army. Fesen has now got the higher ground, so if he charges he'll have the downhill bonus. So that's good news for us. And as I say, you can see the Berserker, you can see two Berserker units still fighting there. So they'll still be trying to sap the morale from our troops there. And you can see them attacking the rear. See those two Berserker units attacking the rear of my units there. Looks like they're attacking the general there as well. So make no mistake, they will be causing a lot of casualties there to my general. Let's have a close up and see if we can see the Berserker. There, can you see that Berserker's actually been hit down to the ground there? Can you see? He's just being hit down to the ground by Roman troops. But I got a feeling he's probably going to get back up. Let's just see that. Can you see him there? He's been hit by Roman troops there. Now he may well get, that might have been a killing blow, but remember he's got 2 hit points, so he may well get up and carry on fighting there. Let's just have a look. Yep, the banner's still flashing, so he's still alive. There you are, he stood up, look. And he's using that effective against armour mace there, make no mistake about that. But they finally got him, I think. Yeah, they finally, my Julii infantry managed to get him in the end there. But just look how my army has been reduced, how many casualties I've suffered from being attacked by all those enemy troops there. You'll see my units are so battle damaged here, and now they're going to receive a downhill charge from the Thracians. Okay, and this is a good move by Spitfyr. Got one of his chosen swordsman unit in behind my general unit there, trying to kill my general. So that's a nice move there by Spitfyr there. Going for the rear of my general there. The most vulnerable part of any unit on Rome Total War is the rear and the flank. So he's attacking my general unit from behind, trying to kill the general, kill the morale bonus there. As I say, you can see Fesen's army coming down the hill now. Now, if he attacks the rear of the Thracians, we will have them in what's known as a sandwich attack. Okay? The red Julii one side of the bread, the SBQR the other side of the bread, and the Thracians in the middle there. So we call this a sandwich attack, and you can see downhill there, Fesen coming downhill there. Now, over here, you'll see, I just wanted to show you this because this is quite important. As I say, the Gaul Forester Warband archers are shooting into us all the time. I can't emphasize how many casualties they're causing us here. And of course, the more casualties my battle damaged units take, the more their morale will drop and the more they'll be susceptible to routing. Okay, but here you can see Fesen's army coming down and charging straight into those Thracians. Remember, those Thracian units are, as all the barbarian units, are fully upgraded, so they're not going to rout that easy. And as I say, with the weight of Fesen's attack, with the downhill bonus that he's got as well, there, you thought that those Thracian units might have routed almost on impact, but they're going to hold. Right, let's pause the game for a second. So this is bad news for me. They've actually routed my general, so I've lost the general morale bonus and another one of my units, and I think they're going to go for one of my eagle units as well, take the morale away from my troops there. Just watch that eagle unit just in front of the general unit there. If you can see the eagle unit with the banner there with the eagle on top, can you see that? My general's gone. There you are, they've got the eagle unit as well. So I've only got one eagle unit now, giving morale to my troops and my allies' troops there. They've just killed, just got rid of the general and the other eagle unit there. So as I say, lost 2 morale boosted units there very quickly. And as I say, Fesen's units there pushing in on the Thracians. I need to attack the rear of those engaged Thracian troops. Okay, so you can see that Spitfyr has now alt-attacked with his Forester warband here, and you can see he's alt-attacked because they're using their spears. Now, of course, those are anti-cavalry spears, but they can also be quite effective against infantry as well. And he's bringing them in into the flank of my Julii troops there as well, to try and finish off my army. I think that's what he's looking to do there. And as I say, Fesen's attacking, pushing downhill there, and here you'll see a druid unit. Another good move here by Spitfyr. Got that druid unit close to not just his troops but to his allies' troops as well, giving that extra morale boost to the enemy troops there. So that's a nice move there by Spitfyr. And as I say, here you can see those Forester warband troops moving in. You can see my Julii troops are so battle damaged now, you know, there is a danger they could mass rout. And if my troops mass rout, that could spark off Fesen's troops as well to mass rout. Now, make no mistake, with the last units I've got here, I'm attacking that Thracian general. I'm tapping on each one of those Julii units to attack the Thracian general. Trying to take the morale bonus, because I think if we can take the morale bonus away from Thrace, I think there could be a mass rout of the Thracian units. With all the pressure that's on them at the moment. Okay, so make no mistake, my Julii units, I'm tapping on each one and then telling them to attack that Thracian general. Can you see, now can you see Fesen's units and my units, we both charged in together there, looking to take out the Thracian general. If we can take him out there, and just, if we do take the Thracian general out, what's the rest of his troops then?
The enemy general is dead.
The Thracian general has just been killed. The whole unit was wiped out there, and there you can see the Thracians now are mass routing, and the Gaul troops will follow the same as well. There you can see the Gaul troops and the Thracian troops there. And it looks like our team has managed to go on to win the battle there. But whoa, that could have gone either way there, right up to the end. If you notice here, as I say, my army is very battle depleted. I managed to keep one eagle unit left alive, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 units left out the entirety of my army. Just 5 units. And you can see Fesen still got quite a few of his units left. But remember, both Scorpion King and I think Mantu have lost their entire armies at this stage. I think, as I say, Scorpion King and Mantu there. I can't remember seeing any of their units on the battlefield at this stage, so I'm guessing they've all been taken out there. So that just goes to show how tough this battle was. Okay, so let's just pause the game for a second, have a look at the battle. So this is where the battle really kicked off here, where Scorpion King was engulfed by that perfect storm attack. He was literally engulfed, wasn't he? And wave after wave of enemy troops. That's why it was like a perfect storm attack there. Over here, this is where Scorpion King was fighting the enemy cavalry when they were attacking his archers, if you remember, at that stage of the battle. So you can see That's where it started, but the main battle started here. Just look at all that dead Julii infantry there. And then we move across the battlefield here. That's where that Germanic cavalry charged into Mantu's infantry. And we managed to rout all that Germanic cavalry with all our cavalry there. So that was good news for us. Then we move over here. And this is, you know, a really important part of the battle. If you look closely, can you see the carcasses and the wheels of the chariots there? Remember, this is where they attacked Mantu's Roman cavalry there. And then here's a line of chariots there where they smashed into the flank of my battle formation, but they couldn't penetrate it. Did you notice that? They couldn't penetrate my battle formation there. And over here you can see, you know, how intense the fighting was just by the piles of dead there. Oh my gosh. And over here, of course, that's where the Thracian troops came down the hill and attacked us. You can see loads of dead there as well. Oh my gosh. As I say, we found in these Roman versus lesser faction or barbarians battles, like, we found that the cavalry of Rome really seems to make a difference in these battles, and if you use them correctly, they can be kind of battle winning. Oh, there's, I think there you are, Mantu has got one unit left. They were an archer unit, so he didn't lose all of his army there. He's still got an archer unit left there, so but that's all he's got left out of the entirety of his army. And remember, his infantry had 8 upgrades on, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack there. So it just goes to show how tough the fighting was in this battle. And you can see Fesen just chasing off what was left of the enemy troops there. So first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game. I thought everybody played well there. Great battle. And as you can see, it was a close victory. And as I've talked about before, close victories are quite rare. So when we get one, I always feel compelled to show that particular battle. And as I say, this is one of our new concept battles, Barbarians versus Rome. And let's have a look. Highest kills goes to Brotherhood member Fesen. So well done to Fesen there. He did well with his army. So really well done to him. So well done to Royer, who's called himself Trex. Got some good kills with his Germanic army there. Oh my gosh, well done to him. Wolves, odd Glorfindel. He might be a bit disappointed he got less than 1,000 kills, but he was very aggressive right from the start of the battle. Well done to Barclayman, got some good kills with his Thracian army. Did well there. And well done to Spitfyr, got some good kills with his Gaul army as well. So really well played, guys. Great battle there. And my kills, well, bearing in mind I was quite defensive in that battle, wasn't I? All the way through to get that many kills. I'm very pleased with that. So that's good. Scorpion King will be disappointed getting less than 1,000 kills, but he was smashed, crashed and bashed in that perfect storm attack, wasn't he? Just really smashed and crashed there. Well done to Mantu, great kills with his army. Maybe those well upgraded infantry really did well for him there. So well done to him. And I say well done to Fesen, highest kills in the game. So as I say, this is one of our new concept battles, where we have Rome here at 31k each, okay, against maximum money, fully upgraded units of what people class as maybe the lesser 31k factions, or we call it the Barbarian versus Rome battles. But as I say, we've got a quest to try and modernise and freshen Rome Total War. As I say, Rome Total War is going to be 21 years old this month, so I think it's about time we freshen and modernise it. We've got several new concept battles that we've introduced into RTW that players seem to like, and it's good to kind of think outside the box in a lot of these type of battles. So please leave your thoughts in the comments about this battle. It's always nice to read what you think, and bye for now.